yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
Hello, Ogres, and welcome to Episode 12. Thank you for joining us, as always, on this magically friendlicious Wednesday afternoon, Earth Day, July 23rd, 2014. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Brandon Full. Say hello, Brandon.
His red-rimmed eyes blink open. A calloused hand fumbles for another cigarette. Why not, he thinks. It will bring me another moment closer to death. His movements are slow, as if every action requires Herculean effort. A checklist emerges in his mind. Place cigarette in mouth. Locate lighter. A chore. Even things that are supposed to bring him pleasure. His palm scrapes the graying stubble on his chin. Why bother? It's not like anyone cares. His ancient, stained black band t-shirt strains as he arches his back in a vain attempt for comfort. A memento from a happier time. A time of hope and promise. The smoldering cigarette dries his mouth. He is ready.
Very nice.
Hey, Rim.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. I am drained from research this week.
Drained from research.
I am absolutely drained from research this week.
So, to that end, we'll be talking about My Little Pony today.
Friendship is magic.
Friendship is magic. At least, that's what we're told. Yeah. We have no idea.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. After some of the things I've read and seen online, I'm not sure that friendship is anything.
Except for maybe some peculiar antics and some terrible, terrible drawings.
I mean, I seriously... We'll get into it a little more as we go on after you tell the beginning. But I did a little bit of research during the week in these last 2 days. Yesterday, pretty much all day, and today for a few hours. Watched shows and read message boards and then looked at, like, the darker side of the fandom. And it just mentally drained me. Maybe it's because I was surrounding myself with something I'm not particularly interested in. I don't know, but...
Through the research that I covered the history aspect of it, and you covered the social aspect, correct?
Yes.
In that, I've watched one episode of Friendship is Magic. And it didn't even have Twilight... I can't even remember her name now. Twilight Sparkle.
Twilight Sparkle, yeah.
It didn't even have Twilight Sparkle as, like, the main character in this one. It was Rarity and the dragon, Spike. Spike went to the library, melted through a locked gate.
Like you do, yeah.
And stole a dark magic book to help Rarity out.
With some sort of dark magic?
Yes. To where everything that she thought became real. And, of course, Rarity is all about crazy sparkle and good-looking. Everything has to be, like, high-end, good-looking stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently.
She's kind of like an uppity bitch. That's what I picked up from watching, because I also watched an episode today earlier, like right before I came over here.
Right.
So that's kind of what I got from it.
Right.
But.
So that's the only episode of Friendship is Magic that I have watched.
And you watched it on YouTube?
Yes.
Do you remember the name of the episode? So if people are really interested, they can go watch it?
No.
I'm going to say no.
No, but I'll go ahead and look it up here in a little bit. And
post it.
And post it. Yeah.
Okay.
So, I guess I can just start right off on the history stuff.
Well, first off, we'll say what our feelings were on the show before doing our research. Then we'll discuss everything. And then at the end, we'll do a wrap-up about where our opinion lies now.
Before... I had never seen the show, and like I said, I've only seen one episode, but...
So you've only seen one episode ever?
Of Friendship is Magic, yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't have kids or anything, so I don't have to watch it.
Mm-hmm. So you don't watch it for the deep storylines, obviously aimed towards adults?
No. So, honestly, I've known about bronies and Pegasisters, but... As far as that goes, I just paid no attention.
Pegasister, isn't that adorable though?
That is.
It really is.
Yeah.
I just want somebody to be like, I'm a Pegasister, and like squeeze their cheek. That sounds so cute.
It does. It's a lot better than Brony.
Yeah.
So, that being said, beforehand, I didn't care anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, people do what they want to do, and
Spoiler alert, I'm gonna guess you still don't really care that much about it.
Well, I mean, if we're going to wrap up with how we feel afterward, then I'd rather refrain from saying how I felt about watching at least that one episode.
Okay. I have a 7-year-old daughter, and my girlfriend has an 8-year-old daughter, so I've seen a lot of My Little Pony. I never really watch it, though. It's typically, you know, they have it on and I'm doing the dishes or fucking around on the computer or whatever, you know.
Right.
So I actually sat down with a mutual friend of ours one time while we were drinking, I think, to watch an episode when it was first put on Netflix.
Okay.
And we just couldn't get through it. I just didn't see the appeal. I mean, watching it with the girls, it's a good show and they love it. And I mean, I can have conversations with them about what happens on the show. But as for it being something that adults would enjoy, I don't really get it. Or I didn't really get it coming in.
Now, do you think that might just be the biased attitude
from
the get-go?
I think the biased attitude definitely has something to do with it.
Because I'll go ahead and talk about how I feel about it now a little bit.
Okay.
The episode that I watched, it was a little on, it reminds me of some of the cartoons that are coming out now, where, yeah, there's a lot of kid-based stuff, but some of the way that the way that it's written has some adult overtones to it, just slightly, not as much as you'd see in like a Ren and Stimpy kind of way, but
they're not like pulling their nerve endings from their teeth out of their mouth.
Yeah, or making lewd jokes that kids wouldn't get but adults get, you know. But just some of the aspects, like Rarity acting crazy when she's on this magic, you know. Mm-hmm. It got a little weird at points, which I was like, oh, okay.
Your erection got weird?
No. There's my erection has never been not weird, so.
Yeah. You do kind of sob every time you get an erection.
That's because it hurts. It's like Wolverine when his claws pop out of his, every time it hurts just a little bit.
It hurts every time.
It hurts every time, bub.
If your girlfriend's had a nickel for every time they heard you say that, you keep a Band-Aid over it. I only pop this out in emergencies, bub.
Because you have to say bub every time.
Oh, yeah, clearly.
You know, I don't think this is
I like how your dick smokes a cigar, though. That's pretty cool.
I kind of like that, of all the Wolverines I've heard, none of them ever actually had a Canadian accent. I know we're getting a little off topic here, but...
Yeah.
I've never heard a voiceover actor who's given him a Canadian accent, because he's Canadian, right?
Yeah.
So, why doesn't he have a Canadian accent, eh?
He was like, if you go by the Wolverine Origins, which I think is what's considered canon right now, he grew up in like backwoods Canada.
Right.
So I don't know what a backwoods rednecky Canadian sounds like.
Or I don't think I've ever heard him speak French, so if he was like French Canadian, you know. I don't think he was.
His name is like James Smith or James something or other. So he has a very normal... I don't think he's French Canadian.
Huh. No, wait. Logan. His name's Logan.
Yeah, that's what it is now.
Oh, you mean his original
He took his
moniker.
birth name. Yeah, he was James, like, growing up. He was really sickly.
Uh-huh.
And then he hit puberty and his powers... Because Wolverine was born in, like, the late 1700s or early 1800s. He's, like, 200-some years old.
Right. Interesting.
So we're going to be talking about Wolverine this entire podcast.
You know what? Let's just scrap all the research we've done for My Little Pony and talk about Wolverine.
I always thought the fastball special seemed inefficient. Whenever Colossus will pick him up and throw him at shit.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. It just seems inefficient to me. I mean, I guess Wolverine's getting there faster because Colossus is throwing him. But Colossus should take that time to, like, run up to something to fight it, you know?
What always got me is... how he would constantly go after Magneto, especially like in the movies and stuff. Since
when
he's
fucking made of metal.
He's fucking made of metal. It's like, why do you keep rushing Magneto when you know damn well that he can just stop you?
Well, Magneto pulled the adamantium out of his skeleton in one of the, like, I think 90s X-Men.
Yeah.
And then he had bone claws for a while.
Yeah.
Which is also hilarious on Magneto's end because it's like, Wolverine is debatably the most dangerous of the X-Men.
Right.
And you had that ace up your sleeve of you could control him. So you're just going to rip all the metal out, knowing he still has a healing factor, and now you can't control him.
Right.
Like, it looks cool in a comic, but, like, you just fucked yourself, Magneto, a little bit.
Way to go.
Yeah.
So.
Alright, so My Little Pony, friendship is Wolverine. That would be awesome.
That would be cool.
They need to do...
Wolverine crossover?
Yeah.
Totally. I agree.
But not like the superhero squad or whatever Wolverine, you know, big head,
Yeah, not
weird
the chibi
Popeye
style.
arms.
Yeah.
Just straight up gritty ass Wolverine showing up in Equestria.
Where the hell am I?
Swear to me!
What?
Well, if he's getting...
That was Batman.
Well, clearly the way he is sucked into My Little Pony is through the television Exorcist style.
Okay.
So in that scenario, he's seen Batman.
Do you think Wolverine would be a brony?
I don't think so.
Well, I mean, he's the gruff guy with a heart of gold.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do you think that he'd at least appreciate the...
I can tell you that I read enough Brony pages and watched enough Brony documentaries on YouTube and Netflix to tell you that Wolverine does not look like your typical Brony.
Okay. So let's go ahead and break into the history. I'm going to deliver about as fast as I can the history behind the toy line, how it came to be, and the history of the generations as set forth by the toy collectors, just because it's a little dry and I don't want to bore everybody with it and we want to get to the social aspect.
Well, I wouldn't worry too much about it because most of our listeners, when you start talking, fast forward until they hear me again anyway.
Right, yeah.
So you can go on for as long as you want. They're just
Okay.
waiting for me to say something funny.
Okay,
You
fair
know,
enough. Yeah.
do my little fucking song and dance routine.
Yeah. You can burn in hell, by the way.
Heard?
So, My Little Pony was developed by Hasbro in 1983. It started as a line of plastic pony toys developed by American illustrator and designer Bonnie Zachary, sculptor Charles Munchinger, and their manager Steve Diag.
Charles Munchinger?
I think that's how you would say it.
Munchinger.
Munchinger. Yeah. And Steve Diaguano. I know.
Munchinger and Deguana.
And Diaguano.
Diaguano.
Diaguano over here.
It's like when you're
It's like,
You're
hey,
going-
I got a big sack of Diaguano over here.
you're going into Jersey and you're going to a reptile store in Jersey
Well,
and you're
it
trying
would
to
be bat
ask
poop, so.
No, you're trying to ask what the best lizard for you to own would be. And you're like, I don't know, I live in an apartment, I have a terrarium.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure which lizard do you think would best fit my lifestyle?
I think the best lizard to fit your lifestyle over here would be Diaguano over here.
Hey.
Hey.
And then I immediately, because Jersey Shore Guidos are like werewolves.
You walk in and just a
I walk
regular, a mid-southern northerner, and
Yeah.
immediately become
I
a
walk
Guido.
out like, hey, honey, look, I
happened?
bought the iguano.
What happened to you in there, honey? And all of a sudden you turn the camera back and she's got thick makeup on.
The iguana's lifting weights. That is a tan iguana.
Where did he get that slick back hair? So the original toy was released in 1981 and was called My Pretty Pony until Zachary was granted a patent for the design around the time she started working for Hasbro in 1983.
Did your sister ever have any My Little Ponies? Toys?
She had a few. She was bigger into Barbie. Barbie was the big collector's item for our family.
Yeah.
So there was a lot more Barbie around, but if I remember correctly, she had a few My Little Ponies here and there.
My sisters, I had 3 sisters, they had My Little Ponies growing up. I would have my Ninja Turtles ride them sometimes.
Right.
So that was pretty cool.
Who owns Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Nobody really owns them, Remington. They live in the sewer.
Who owns the property? Oh, well, Nickelodeon owns the movie and show rights, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I don't really know.
I don't know who owns the twin line. I know it's a
Hasbro, maybe.
Is it Hasbro? I don't know.
I have no idea.
So the original pony was called My Pretty Pony. There was some conflicting information as to when Generation 1 was launched. In the Generation 1 section of Wikipedia, it says 1982, but everywhere else it says 1983. But the My Pretty Pony was considered Generation 0. So the My Pretty Pony was a 10-inch pony doll with a brushable mane and tail. In the front end of the head, behind the mouth, was a lever that could be pulled to make the eyes close, the ears wiggle, and the tail flip.
Sounds pretty badass.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool toy. If you go on YouTube, there is a French video commercial of it.
Le Pony.
Yeah, and you can find maybe one. I found maybe one other where somebody had one from like 20 years ago and it still worked. They were pretty proud of that.
Pretty proud, huh?
Yeah. It was originally designed for Hasbro's Romper Room line of toys in 1981, which I can only assume was just like they outsourced, design for toys and just put it into one big line.
Yeah.
And then used properties that came from it. Collectors classify My Little Pony toy lines into generations, of which there are 4. And like I said, the original My Pretty Pony being posthumously referred to as Generation 0. The original toy line ran from 1983 to 1992 in the US and 95 worldwide. The franchise produced numerous products as well as television specials, 4 TV shows, movies, and video games.
Video games?
Yep.
Do you have any information about any My Little Pony video games?
Yeah, the way I set up my notes here is I just did a brief history and then tried to do each generation on its own little thing. So I'll talk about the media adaptations as well as the toy lines themselves.
Okay.
So the Generation 1 ponies began with the Earth ponies, which I imagine was just regular pony style, no wings, no unicorns, no stuff. Things of that nature.
The Earth ponies.
Yes, just the Earth ponies.
Made predominantly of clay, I'm guessing.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were clay golems.
Clay golems.
Then came the Pegasus, Unicorn, Flutter, and Sea ponies. Flutters were smaller and thinner than Pegasus ponies and had fluttering wings. Windy Wing and the Summer Wing ponies were smaller than the Flutter ponies and were proportioned similarly with larger butterfly-like wings. Sea ponies resembled seahorses and were produced as adults and babies. There were also male ponies called Big Brother ponies, which had slightly larger bodies and feathered hooves resembling Clydesdales.
Okay.
The toy lines themselves, there were mail order ponies, which was a program that they first released. I think a fair amount of toy lines had these kind of mail order things where you could send in points and they'd send you unique toys and things of that nature.
Yeah, well, back in the 80s, too, I don't know if the Wikipedia went into this, but back in the 80s, Equestria was actually a worse off place than it is now.
Okay.
And the mail order ponies were, just trying to get a better life in the States or really anywhere. So it's kind of sad when you follow up with them because a lot of the mail order ponies were mailed into like abusive relationships. I mean, a lot of them got out and it was all right. But typically the people ordering these mail order ponies want the ponies more as like a status symbol than anything else, So
I had to keep quiet and let you deliver that as
it is unfortunate.
Straight
I'm
as
not
possible.
sure what you find so funny about that, but
well,
okay.
What can I say? I find abuse funny. Oh God,
fair enough.
Terrible. The mail order ponies were special ponies only available through mail order. Retail ponies came with horseshoe points available in the U.S. and the U.K., though the ponies varied by country. They were generally reissues from playsets or unique ponies. There were also the birth flower ponies, who all had white bodies and pink manes and tails, which featured a pony for every month of the year, as well as special baby ponies.
Honestly, as a kid, I would have no interest in these ponies at all. I let my Ninja Turtles ride them, that's fine.
Right.
But the amount of toys they put out sound pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember there being a whole lot of mail order toys as a kid. I mean, even if there were, I wouldn't have been able to order them, so I guess I just they were off my radar. But, that sounds awesome to, a mail order. There's a fucking Ninja Turtle for every month of the year.
Yeah, that would be
That's
cool.
amazing. Like February Michelangelo dressed like a cherub.
Right,
that would be pretty cool.
I agree. The international ponies, different international companies licensed under Hasbro produced their own lines of ponies instead of shipping them from China where most of the ponies were produced. Some were similar to existing ponies.
Oh, interestingly enough, in China they were called My Little Ponies.
Some were similar to existing ponies and some were completely unique to their region. And the related lines in Generation 1 were petite ponies, which were tiny figures sold in sets from 1989 to 1991, and had an engraved hoof used as a key to the petite playsets. Only Earth and Pegasus ponies were produced during this line. Dream ponies were large, hard plastic figures advertised as grown-up ponies and closer resembled actual horses in design. All except 3 were Earth ponies, and they were sold from 1989 to 1990. My Little Kitty, Puppy, and Bunny ponies... Yep. My Little Kitty, Puppy, and Bunny.
Ponies.
Ponies.
So were they still ponies?
Well,
Was it
no,
My
they
Little
weren't
Kitty
ponies.
Pony?
They were a different line, but they were related to the My Little Pony. So they weren't ponies.
I was hoping it was like some horrible amalgamation, like
Some
human centipede
terrifying mashup of bunny.
of horse and pony.
Wait, horse and pony?
Or
Kitty.
pony and cat, pony and bunny. We make the horses fuck the bunnies, and then we ship them.
Yeah, sounds like a good idea. Because that's what they sound like in the China shops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you think that the Chinese people would sound like in the Chinese shops, Remington?
I don't know. You're the one who made a riddle joke. My Little Kitty, Puppy, and Bunny were sold under the Hasbro MLP logo during the early 90s. Each consisted of a mother, 2 babies, and a plastic comb. And the final related line in the Generation 1 were the Takara variants. In 1984, Takara, later merged with Tomy to form Takara Tomy, released a line of My Little Pony toys, which were released in 2 types. Osharena, which meant stylish pony, and Kawaii, which means little pony. Only released in Japan, these are a more anthropomorphic take on the toy line and considered as the most rare of the G1 collection due to how they were released. The merchandise... What?
Oh my God, there's so much.
I told you
There's
there was
so many notes.
I tried to make this as concise as possible, but I mean there is a lot to cover.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, it's important to know if we've decided we're going to discuss My Little Pony. Here's the information.
I think it's just as important to know at least as much, if not more, as bronies.
Yeah. What, like to battle them on their own terms?
Yes, because I've got my sword in one hand.
Mm-hmm. And your penis in the other.
So the merchandise. Besides the ponies themselves, merchandise include children's bedding and room decorations, plus toys, puzzles, clothing, books, and playsets. There were also unusual items such as a pomander and toy sewing machines.
What is a pomander?
A pomander, if you remember the Victorian-style paintings and stuff, where a woman would be wearing a dress and she'd have this big bald belt on, and there would be like balls hanging off of it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that was a form of perfume. They were perfumed balls.
Okay.
Usually made of like flowers and stuff like that.
So like...
they were supposed to keep like disease away and things of that nature.
So, are you familiar with Street Fighter?
It was a form of aromatherapy.
Street Fighter at all?
A bit.
Do you know Akuma? The guy with the fire hair? He wears a gi and he has like a necklace of these giant balls. Is that what those are also?
No, those are probably more along the lines of like monks.
Yeah.
No, this was more a fashion design, but also used to cover up the terrible, terrible smells of people who didn't take showers for months on end.
Okay.
2 animated television series and a feature-length theatrical movie were aired during the Generation 1 period. In 1985, a picture disc featuring songs by Tony Markey, who is a British-born entertainer, was released.
About My Little Ponies?
Yes. You can actually, if you look up Tony Markey, he is an entertainer and a cruise line director now. But he has his own website if you look him up, and he's got he has a very interesting story to tell about his life. He was originally going to go into the health field, become a doctor or something like that, and I forget exactly, I didn't read through all of it, but he decided to become an entertainer instead.
Man, I bet his career, he was so excited, like, loosen the noose that he was about to hang himself with when he happened to catch a news report on My Little Pony coming back.
Well, this was Generation 1.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
He dusted off his microphone sitting in the corner. You know, he skipped through town like the grandpa in Willy Wonka when he gets up. You know,
I've got a golden ticket.
Honey, I can feed us this week. My Little Pony's back.
He was a very successful man. If you read his bio, yeah, he's very
I've never heard of him. I judge people's success on whether I've heard of them personally.
Right. So I guess that means that we are completely unsuccessful.
I have no idea who you are.
The Generation 1 media adaptations. Mid-80s features. My Little Pony, retitled as Rescue at Midnight Castle, was the first 22-minute syndicated primetime special and premiered in 1984. MLP Escape from Katrina was the second special, which premiered in 1985, featuring Tammy Grimes. My Little Pony the movie was the only theatrical film released in 1986 featuring Rhea Perlman, Madeline Kahn, Tony Randall, who actually voiced in the series as well, and Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito?
Danny
really?
DeVito was in it as well.
I'm a pony.
Look at me, guys. I'm a pony over here.
Where's the hay? Come on. I'm going to be in Batman later.
It grossed nearly $6 million in the U.S. and received mostly negative reviews from critics. My Little Pony and Friends, a half-hour TV series featuring MLP in the first 15-minute segment and either Glow Friends, Potato Head Kids, or Moon Dreamers in the second segment, and consisted of 65 episodes. These were all set in Dream Valley. My Little Pony Tales, premiering on the Disney Channel in 1992, anthropomorphized the ponies further than the original series, wherein the ponies lived in town, went to school, ran businesses, went on vacations, and exchanged currency for goods. So I guess it was a more modern setting instead of a magical kingdom.
Yeah, I just like the specific went on vacations.
That's what...
Like,
these were all
really,
pulled from the wiki.
Is being a pony that difficult of a life that you gotta take a fucking vacation? You literally shit wherever you're standing. Do you need a vacation? Part of the fun of going on a vacation is shitting in the bathroom of a new hotel. I mean, when you're sitting there and it's like, I could literally shit on the floor and somebody here cleans it up.
That's true.
That's their entire job. Not that I'm advocating shitting on the floor, because those people's lives probably suck enough already.
Yeah, they don't need any help.
But you can. I don't know. I just think those ponies need to get some fucking jobs. I had to stand outside in a field for 12 hours. I guess I need a vacation.
So there was not a whole lot of information on Generation 2 because it was a fairly unpopular line.
Okay.
Friendship Garden Ponies.
I'm guessing that a lot of this information, why it's so extensive, is because it was compiled by fans of current My Little Pony.
Yeah, I would assume so.
And bronies.
And collectors.
Something I noticed from the message boards and the stuff that I was looking into is bronies, much like, if not more than, a lot of other fandoms, are really, really judgy about stuff they don't like.
Okay.
Which might be part of the reason why there's such little information about Generation 2.
Right.
I never really saw references to any of that, but it could be just collectively bronies are like, that fucking sucked. It's stupid.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, we'll get into it a little bit. Friendship Garden Ponies had redesigned poses with jewel eyes and turning heads. They were smaller, slimmer, and longer-legged than the originals. This slim look not only made them less stable and harder to play with, but some collectors note the anorexic feel of the ponies as another reason they did not sell well.
Oh my god.
So yes, they had a very
The ponies are too thin.
Yeah.
I don't like them because they're too thin.
While producing a poor body image, for the younger generation. I mean, I never thought that I'd grow up to grow a shell and my skin turn green, but whatever.
But, time has proven you wrong.
It's true. I do eat pizza every day. So at least there's that.
And if you don't live in the sewer, you at least carry the smell of one.
Thank you. I worked very hard for that.
I mean, is it really the idea that the bad body image, are you just hypothesizing, or does it specifically say part of, it says the anorexic look they didn't like?
Pretty much, yeah. I paraphrased that a little bit, but yes, it was. This is more from the collectors.
I mean, come on. I understand, sort of the argument with Barbie and, her dimensions and it's giving girls a bad body image and models and whatever. But, I think a kid is gonna have way more problems in life if they're looking for their body image to a fucking horse. Yeah. To a pony,
Well, I mean, that's just it. I don't think kids really think along those lines.
No.
Those are the collectors looking back on toys from their childhood and being like, oh, now that I have a wider and more cynical worldview,
yeah,
these ponies clearly look anorexic, and that's the reason why I throw up every night.
So the collectors are chubby chasers.
Let's hope so. Because I'm fat. The Friendship Garden Ponies were manufactured from 1997 to 1999 in the U.S., and 2002 in the EU. They were discontinued in the US due to unpopularity, and in the EU with the inception of the G3 line in 2003. Most were Earth ponies, but a few unicorn ponies were made internationally. Some of these unicorns had clip-on wings called magic unicorns, but were not considered Pegasus ponies. 2 baby ponies were introduced, but none of them were sold in the US. EU ponies lived in Ponyland instead of Friendship Garden. They don't say why they changed the name for it, but they did. A number of playsets were introduced, as well as beanbag plushies, magazines, clothing, perfume, wrapping paper, and coloring books. Some G2 ponies were sold as detachable keychains and included a comb attached to their neck by a string. And there were a few media adaptations as well. MLP Friendship Garden is an educational life simulation game developed by Artec Digital Entertainment and published by Hasbro Interactive.
A life simulation game.
Mm-hmm. It is the first MLP game to be released on the PC and the only game to coincide with G2. It was released in 1998 and worked with Windows 95 and 98.
Does that life simulation, does that mean like The Sims? So The Sims with ponies, basically?
Yeah, I think you would raise your pony and there would be little puzzle games and things of that nature to go along with it. So
I wonder why that never took off like StarCraft did.
I don't know. And now we move on to Generation 3. And I didn't even finish that. The worst part is I didn't even finish my notes for Generation 4.
Do you?
If I would have.
Thank God for the small things, I guess.
Yeah, because there's a lot of information for Generation 4.
Is Generation 4 the current?
The current adaptation of My Little Pony.
Do you want to just maybe do, like, the highlights of these notes here?
These are the highlights.
Those are the highlights?
These are the highlights. I tried to make this as concise as possible.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'll translate to people hearing this who are like, ooh, they're going to talk about My Little Ponies and genuinely be interested.
Yeah.
I just wish that there could be a still image of my face as you're reading this because my eyes are dead and I'm just staring out the window like, oh my God.
At least you're listening enough to interject a little bit every once in a while. So Generation 3 ponies began in 2003, and the ponies lived in Ponyville, centered around Celebration Castle. Only Earth ponies were released from 2003 to 2005, with Pegasus and Unicorn ponies being introduced late in 2005-2006. G3 ponies also featured a Pony Points program that was slightly different than the original mail order program. The Points program ended in 2006.
Pony Points program?
Yes. So instead of the horseshoe points, they went to Pony Points instead.
Well, times are changing.
Yeah.
You keep with the times.
The line was simultaneously released in the US and the EU, though there are a few ponies not available in the US.
Bondage Pony.
That was specifically released for the Germans.
Yeah, Nazi Pony. That one was actually a big seller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were really big into that, but nobody talks about it.
Yeah, well, you know, it's just a point in pony history that they prefer to cover up.
Right. Understandably so. A Pinkie Pie with the words 2003 Lightning Show embedded, or licensing show, not lightning show.
That'd be way better if it was Lightning Show.
I agree. Embedded in her symbol, one of the most uncommon G3 ponies, was released by mistake in 2004 due to a packaging error. It was used to promote the MLP line at the 2003 Spring Licensing Show in a limited edition of 300. So they accidentally released this limited edition pony.
Lightning Pony early.
Yes. Rosie Pony was another promotional pony given to attendees of a Hasbro charity dinner. Collector ponies are also made available in the G3 design via special events such as the MLP Collectors Convention at the SDCC, San Diego Comic-Con, for those who don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's going on this week, actually.
Yes, it is.
I'm excited. They're announcing some information about the new Magic set.
That's
coming out in September.
Which is also owned by Hasbro.
Yep.
Magic.
Hasbro owns most things now.
Yeah. The toy lines. Ponyville figures are fully molded. I'm getting tired of talking, clearly. Ponyville figurines are fully molded.
Fully molded.
Fully molded.
Fully molded. Fully molded Lightning Pony.
Ponyville figurines are fully molded plastic and smaller than the main G3 line, and are the same as their larger counterparts despite having their own playsets and accessories. Tons of merch has been released for the G3 line, including plush theme park prizes used in crane machines. A 3-foot plush line was first made available in Australia featuring Rainbow Dash, Minty, Sweetberry, and the special kimono, which was used as a prize by Red Rooster restaurants and Target. McDonald's and other fast food chains have featured ponies in kids' meal promotions. 8 ponies were featured in the first U.S. McDonald's promotion, while other countries' chains had 4. MLP merch focused
America.
MLP merch focused at young women also appeared, picturing G1 ponies in a retro motif. And there was also a Core 7. In 2009, Hasbro redesigned the My Little Pony characters and limited the ponies to 7 main characters: Cherilee, Tula-Rula, Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, Scootaloo, Sweetie Belle, and Starsong. And in the media adaptations, at one point Hasbro sold its digital gaming rights to their properties, including My Little Pony, Magic the Gathering, Tonka, Play School, and Transformers, to Infogrames for $100 million US in 2000.
I think that's supposed to be Infogamers.
No, it's Infogramers.
Infogramers?
Infogramers, yes.
What the fuck is that?
It's a French-based...
Infogramers.
I looked it up. It was a French-based... Ah, crap, I forgot what they called it. It was a French-based company.
A French-based graming company.
A glamming company. And bought them back for $65 million US in 2005. Direct-to-video shorts and feature-length films featuring the G3 and Core 7 ponies were released from 2003 to 2009, mostly produced by SD Entertainment. This one I thought was interesting. A 90-minute live musical stage performance was released in October 2006 and on DVD September 2008. So, I mean, these were live performers dressed in pony outfits.
Yeah, doing like kind of burlesque. Style.
Yeah, mostly. It was mostly burlesque.
Yeah, it was burlesque.
Yeah.
You know there's a Ninja Turtles live stage show?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they do like musicals and pantomime fight and stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you can find the videos of it on YouTube. I've never watched it.
You can find the video of this on YouTube as well.
Of the My Little Pony stage show?
Uh-huh.
I bet it's pretty horrifying. I mean, like, fun but horrifying.
For the first maybe 10 seconds that I watched it, it was pretty weird.
I mean, are they anthropomorphized like a person in a skin-tight suit with a pony head, or are they in full-on, like two people Chinese dragon style running around?
In a pony, yep.
Weird.
So I don't know how the costumes actually worked, but they had blinking eyes, and it was, turning heads and moving mouths and things of that nature.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Yep. 2 handheld games were released during the G3 era. MLP Crystal Princess, The Runaway Rainbow for Game Boy Advance.
They're just throwing words into this stuff now. They live in Dreamspire Castle and a runaway rainbow.
It was released for Game Boy Advance in 2006 and the MLP Pinkie Pie's Party for Nintendo DS in 2008. And that brings us to Generation 4.
Right when I think you're done, you click on another tab and open up an entire page.
Another entire page. This is the Generation 4, which I didn't get to finish the notes on.
This is the generation that we're on now?
Yes.
I like that the least amount of notes you have are for the generation that we're discussing.
I know. If I wouldn't have had my face full of snot and exploding out of my nose Monday, I would have gotten my notes done. So it was an unfortunate attack of allergies.
Yeah.
And getting older sucks. If there are any kids listening to this, which you shouldn't be because we cuss too much.
What do you mean?
Huh?
I don't know.
Make sure to go to your doctor when you hit about 25 and just start getting allergy meds.
No matter what?
No matter what. Honestly.
And
if
you take more allergy meds than you're prescribed, you start to hallucinate before you fall asleep.
Really?
So.
I've never done that.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never done it purposely, but when I've taken like an extra Benadryl, and if you fight sleep just a little bit, it's not pleasant. It's not a pleasant hallucination.
If I'm having trouble getting to sleep, that's usually when I take Benadryl.
So what we're saying is go out and abuse prescription medication.
or over-the-counter prescription medication.
Yeah, over-the-counter medication will work too.
Right. I usually take Claritin.
So you can say Claritin Clear?
Yeah.
Claritin, now a sponsor of our show, by the way.
Yes. Don't go buying Loratadine. You buy Claritin.
Is Loratadine a real thing?
Yeah, it's the generic version of
Dude, my brain is so fried from looking up stuff.
You haven't even started yet.
From looking up stuff and then listening to this. The words that you're saying are just combining. They all sound like made-up words.
But this is where it starts to get good. Because Friendship is Magic was developed by Lauren Faust.
Mm-hmm.
and she has been big in the animators section for quite a while. She's married to Craig McCracken, who was the main creator for Powerpuff Girls.
She had a hand in that too, right?
Yeah, she had a hand in pretty much everything that he did as well.
Mm-hmm. I bet she did.
Giggity. In 2010, G4 and the current incarnation of MLP began featuring 9 characters tied to the TV show My Little Pony Friendship and Magic, which airs on the Hub. The show centers mainly on the unicorn puppy Twilight Sparkle, who is voiced by Tara Strong, and she learns about friendship in Equestria. The other characters include Rainbow Dash, Fluttershy, Pinkie Pie, Applejack, Rarity, Spike the Dragon, and Princesses Celestia and Luna. Most of these characters on the show were designed by animator Lauren Faust, known for her work in Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, the Powerpuff Girls, who also featured Tara Strong as the voice of Bubbles, Wander Over Yonder, which is a terrible show, for the record. I don't know. I've watched a couple episodes and it is boring. Codename Kids Next Door. The Max. She actually worked on The Max, the MTV.
Yeah, I've been watching episodes of The Max. It's a really good show.
Yeah, it was good. The Iron Giant. She worked on the movie The Iron Giant.
Superman.
Voiced by
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel.
The Iron Giant is an awesome movie.
Yeah, it really is.
Mm-hmm.
And
it was directed by someone big, too.
I don't remember now.
It's either Joss Whedon or James Gunn.
Mm-hmm.
James Gunn being the current director of Guardians of the Galaxy, and Joss Whedon being the director of Avengers and Buffy and all that shit.
Right. She also worked on the movie Quest for Camelot and many more. She developed the show for TV. She's also married to animator, director, and producer Craig McCracken of Powerpuff Girls, as well as a slew of other animations fame. So that covers the main bulk of the notes that I had up to there. I didn't get to the toy lines or anything.
Okay.
So.
And thanks for listening. I think we're out of time now. What are we at? Are we seriously at 47 minutes?
Yep, apparently.
Jesus Christ.
That's all right. We'll run long. Fuck it. All right, you guys, I tried to talk as fast as possible. We've got a little bit of silence to cut out, but not a lot.
I read My Little Pony forums. I went into a brony masturbation chat room.
Really?
I did.
Wow, you really put yourself into it.
I went to the My Little Pony Reddit porn board.
Okay.
And I watched 2 separate videos of BronyCon from last year, 2013, which is the closest My Little Pony convention to us in Maryland. 2 separate documentaries in quotes that was basically dudes with a handheld camera just filming themselves running around being socially awkward for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And your notes are still the most brutal thing I've heard about My Little Pony this week.
I told you it was going to be dry.
I felt like I was falling asleep in English class.
I think John is asleep. We have John here. It's a buddy of ours to interject if we feel so inclined.
Or if he feels the need to. I'm going to run through some of this stuff, I figure.
Well, don't hold back. I mean, fucking go at it.
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I know that we're running a little long already, but...
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. I don't care how long we go, really. No, I'm going to run through some of this stuff. I'm going to have you pause, take a break, refill my water. We'll move a chair over for John. And then we'll get into the 2 separate topics that I want to discuss and have a third opinion.
Okay, sounds good.
So I looked up information about bronies.
Okay.
That was basically my MO. Remington did all these notes on this shit, and I wanted to see more into the cultural aspect of it, because I know friends, and I have some family who consider themselves bronies.
Yeah, I do as well.
And the people, especially family, who consider themselves bronies, I enjoy the same things they enjoy.
Yes.
For the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Same sort of taste and stuff. So that's why I've tried more than once to actually sit down and watch an episode of My Little Ponies. Because when they've told it to me, you know, not just family, but places I've read online and people I've talked to have said, you know, it's actually a really good show. The animation's great. You know, the points are there. It's funny. It's like really funny.
Yeah.
I've sat down and watched them. I mean, I chuckle at them, but I just don't, I see absolutely no differentiation between My Little Pony and any other kid's show.
Right.
You know, I mean, Powerpuff Girls was funny. I liked Powerpuff Girls when I was like 12, even probably up to 15, 16. And I can't say that, like, I dislike it because it's a children's show. I'd probably still watch Powerpuff Girls. It's on Netflix. I mean, I've thrown it on once or twice with my daughter.
Right.
But at the heart of it, they're still a kid show. So what was so mystifying to me going into this is why My Little Pony specifically got just this huge rush of people behind it, you know?
Yeah.
People who are proud to say, I'm a brony, you know? I just didn't get it.
Right.
So I started to read into the history and stuff, go to the boards. I focused a little more on the darker side just because I thought it'd make for better listening.
Right.
But I do have some of the good stuff. And again, I said this last week if you listened, and if you did, congratulations. I didn't come in to shit on bronies. I don't get it. I still don't get it after everything. There's some weird shit, but there's weird shit in any section of fandom, you know?
Right.
I still don't get it. It still seems weird. It almost seems like more of a, yeah, I like a kid's show for girls. What about it?
Right.
Like, that's more what it feels like. Like, I'm so weird. But anyway, we'll get into all that at the end.
I think, from my perspective, just watching one episode, I wouldn't sit down and watch it through. I wouldn't plan it into my day. But if it were on and there was nothing else on, I might watch another episode.
Yeah.
It was entertaining enough for me to waste time on if I had time to waste.
Well, the thing is, I've talked about it before, but I'm kind of contrarian by nature.
Right.
And if something is really popular, I'm more inclined to not give it a chance. I'm more inclined to just like, fuck that. Everybody's telling me to watch
You're so seen.
The Matrix or this or that. No, it's not that I'm seen.
I know,
I'm just super judgy and a prick.
Yeah.
You know, there's a difference there. So maybe, I know I went into My Little Pony with bias, and I just, even after watching the episode I watched today, the episode was called Over a Barrel from season 2. I don't remember what episode it was. If you have Netflix, you can go and watch it. I'm not really going to discuss the episode, but you can see, if you are a brony and you're listening, feel free to message us or comment about, you know, your opinions on stuff or anything we say if you disagree with, you know. Feel free to let us know, because the point I want to make about all of this before I get into the weird shit is I'm not judging people for what they like.
Right.
You know, I judge people for a myriad of reasons, but I don't judge you for what you like. If you're proud of liking My Little Pony, fine. So, My Little Pony, the term bronies started on 4chan.
Okay.
There was, apparently, people started to ironically talk about My Little Pony on 4chan.
Okay.
And most of the 4chan users fought back and started to, like, make fun of them for it. So then there was this war where you had your typical user who would just mock the people who said that they liked My Little Pony or they watched it. So then you would have the other people who'd never seen the show jump on, watch it, and then ironically like it too.
Mm-hmm.
And the more it was discussed, the more the people who liked it ironically started to realize, I actually kind of like this.
Right.
So there was a huge war on 4chan for a while where the people who liked My Little Pony invaded the /B board, which is notoriously the board where people post porn and gore pictures, like just a really fucked up board. And so anytime you would post stuff about My Little Pony for a while, you would get banned.
Okay.
Because it was causing so much infighting.
Which, to interject here, I watched the Fine Brothers, you know, they're a YouTube personalities. They do kids watch and an elderly watch, and then they have a theme.
Okay, not familiar, but okay.
They did a teens watch My Little Pony, and they explained to them the social impact that it's had, and they were just, many of them were rather dumbfounded by it.
Why it's so popular?
And one kid was talking about how the bronies just have to be trolls. They all have to be just trolls. Because they're posting pictures of, like, whoever the blue one is.
Like the sky blue one?
Yeah.
Rainbow Dash?
Yeah, Rainbow Dash. There's a picture of her looking, like, real mad. And it goes,
I'm going to tolerate the shit out of you? I'm going to tolerate the shit out of you?
No, it was, I'm a brony, so what? Or something to that effect.
Well, I'm going to tolerate the shit out of you became the bronies' kind of rallying cry on 4chan.
Okay.
As they were getting banned and getting shit.
And that's what they were talking about.
They started to flood the boards with just pictures of ponies and references, and it was a war where they'd post, they'd get banned, and they'd just continue, and it was back and forth. And finally, the creator of 4chan, who I wish I could find the actual post that he wrote. I searched and I couldn't find it. I'm sure it's out there. I just couldn't.
Right.
Put, like, on the front page of 4chan, this big long thing, basically, like, we were wrong. You can start your own board on 4chan for My Little Pony.
Yeah.
It's a good show. It's not going anywhere. Your fans, we were wrong to ban everybody. We're sorry. Which I guess is something that he has never or very rarely ever done. Because 4chan's kind of like a wild west of just insanity and underage boobs.
Right.
From what I understand. That sounded really creepy.
Yeah, it did.
That's what I've heard. I don't use 4chan. I don't understand it. I use Reddit. 4chan's just one of those things that seems like, I know people who use 4chan. It seems confusing and I feel old when I go on there. And also I've heard so much about like, anybody can post anything anonymously. So you scroll through and there could just, bam, there's a picture of a naked 10-year-old girl.
Wow.
And it'll get taken off very quickly. Do you know?
I just read about it.
Okay. But yeah, so they coined the term brony from bro pony.
Okay.
Clearly.
Right.
And started from there. And it's just branched off into thousands and thousands and thousands of fans now. Fan art, fan fiction, music. There's a huge brony music scene.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I watched a documentary on Netflix done by the guy who does Discord's voice, the guy that played Q on Star Trek.
Uh-huh.
Discord is like the bad guy, from what I understand. He's like he's a dragon, but he's like a combination of a bunch of different animals.
Okay.
And I think he represents the element of Discord, because from what I understand of My Little Pony, from what I saw and from what I've read, they work within something called the elements of harmony, and each of them represents an element. So you've got your 6 main ponies, and each of the ponies represents an element of harmony.
John Delancey. His name,
But the documentary, I'm just all over the place, the documentary he did is on Netflix. You can still watch it, and it's called Bronies, the completely unexpected adult male fans of My Little Pony, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's actually a good documentary. I watched it a few months ago before we were even talking about doing this episode.
Uh-huh.
And I enjoyed it.
Bronies, the extremely unexpected adult fans of My Little Pony.
Nailed it. Bam.
Yep. Co-producer and narrator, I guess he was.
Yeah, he plays like a teacher pony, and it's animated, and he's like teaching students about bronies. Okay. And then it follows like real life fans. There's like an autistic kid in England who wants to go to a My Little Pony convention. It follows him. His family knows. They kind of like, well, it's a bit weird, isn't it? But, they let him go. And the whole thing follows him like, he takes a train by himself, and he's, I would guess, probably in his early 20s to mid, takes a train by himself like an hour away to go to this convention, and is super nervous about it because he's autistic like Asperger's, doesn't want to get out, hates social situations and people. Follows him taking the train, getting there, and really enjoying it.
So it does him some good, being autistic.
Yeah, absolutely. There's another kid who's probably like 12, 14, somewhere in there, who tells his dad for the documentary that he is a fan of My Little Pony. Right. And his dad starts out like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, what are you, gay or something? That. Yeah. He's like a real shit-kicking redneck dad. It's like Texas or Alabama or somewhere like that is where it takes place.
Somewhere in the obligatory South.
Somewhere where you can say the term shit-kicking about somebody and it be entirely true. But
shit-kicking. I like it.
It follows him telling his dad he likes it. He wants to go to a My Little Pony convention. His dad ends up coming with him and is like, crossed arms, looking at all the fucking weirdos walking by. If you haven't seen anything, search BronyCon on YouTube and pick one of the 10,000 fucking videos people take at a Brony convention, and you'll see what I mean a little bit. Because, this dad's walking into, like, I want my son to race dirt bikes. Right. And there's people walking around with, like, Rainbow Dash hats with like fur and ears, and they're wearing those weird tails that like furries and fat Renaissance girls love to wear. Right. Okay. But yeah, it's good. I thought it was a good documentary. Really, I'd suggest watching it. But yeah, I don't remember where I was going with that specifically. Like I said, I'm kind of jumping all over the place.
So you were talking about him being at the con and being cross-armed and very standoffish about it.
Yeah, but he slowly, over time, kind of comes to understand it because, was his name John Delancey? Yeah. Comes up to him and talks to him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and is like, I understand, you look uncomfortable. I understand why you are. When I first found out that adult males are enjoying this show made for 6-year-olds, 6-year-old girls, I thought it was weird too, but once you embrace the community, you realize that it is a community.
Right.
And that's kind of like, I mean, since I'm jumping all over the place, I'll just jump wherever my brain takes me, I guess. But that's kind of what it boiled down to with me reading about bronies, is I think the obsession with it is weird. But there are things that I'm obsessed with or I enjoy that I'm sure some of the bronies would look at and be like, that's a weird obsession, you know? Like, I have a 20-sided die tattooed on my back.
Right.
That's so weird. Like, you got a D&D tattoo, you know? Or like, how do you play Minecraft like that? You paint pictures of Minecraft you have hanging in your house, you know? That's weird to other people.
It's like, yeah, but you've got Twilight Sparkle tattooed on your butt cheek, so...
Yeah, and that's one of those things that I tried to understand, and I still don't. What it is about that show specifically that makes people argue about, like, all the humor, and it's, you know, it's for this, and it's for that, and I don't know, I don't get it.
Right.
I mean, Lauren Faust, who we talked about, one of the creators, said, I'm flattered. It's amazing that these guys find worth in my show. It makes me feel good. But we do the show for 6-year-old girls is our target audience.
Right.
That's what the show is aimed towards.
Yeah.
And apparently, like, they put in nods to the brony fans, like in commercials and stuff. There's a pony that was in the background in the first season of an episode that an animator put in as a joke, a pony with crossed eyes, like 2 eyes looking in, and the fans named her Derpy.
Okay.
And started referring to her as Derpy on the message boards. And then I think season 3, they called her Derpy, and she had like a speaking line referring to her as Derpy.
Uh-huh.
So like the show actually listens to what the fans say. And from what I read, a lot of the animators, writers of the show actively interact with the brony community, which is cool, but I don't know. It's weird. That's really what it boils down to, is it's weird. I mean, I have all this information still. What I was saying, each of the ponies represents an element. Applejack represents honesty. Applejack being like the shit-kicking pony of the group.
Right.
Fluttershy represents kindness. Pinkie Pie, laughter. Rainbow Dash, loyalty. Twilight Sparkle, magic. And Rarity, generosity.
Generosity or bitchiness?
Generosity?
Generosity?
Were you bitten by Sean Connery?
She represents generosity.
The
I can't
moon.
even do his voice right now.
The moon is getting full.
The moon is getting full.
Lock me in my room. No matter what noises you hear from inside this room, do not let me out until morning.
My little pony.
Are you just jerking off in there?
Yes.
I'm wrapping presents.
I'm wrapping presents. Don't come in.
I mean, so do you want to pause and I guess, since I've already kind of started to talk about the first do you want to just discuss Sean Connery? Sean Connery playing Wolverine.
Dude, that'd be badass.
I'm the best there is at what I do. It hurts every time. That's the secret, Captain. I'm always mad.
So yeah, we'll take a quick break.
Do you want to take a break, get John pulled up? I'll go ahead and discuss the rest of this. We'll take a quick break. You guys won't hear it or whatever, obviously. We'll get set up with John. We can maybe get his opinion on the brony stuff, and then I'll kind of hit these notes as I go.
Okay.
I've got a My Little Pony fanfiction pulled up I'm going to read a section from.
Okay.
I have a list of brony conventions.
Okay.
I haven't got into the charitable aspect of bronies, which is awesome. And then I have a news story that probably 50% chance people have heard of. It was on Facebook and around to discuss. And then we can put a bullet in this and never speak of it again.
You also have your comparison between what a brony thinks of the show and what your daughter thinks of the show.
Oh, yeah, I didn't do that.
You did not.
I have my daughter's description of the show, but I didn't find a brony description of the show.
Well, maybe we can find something real quick during the break.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll be right back. And we're back.
And we're back.
You. You were just waiting for that.
I really was, yeah.
We're back, and you won't have noticed. But we now have with us our resident stoner, John.
Hello.
I don't think you need to get that close to the microphone.
Actually, he kind of did have to get that close to the microphone.
Oh, really?
You might want to scoot up a little bit.
I am sitting where I always sit.
I'll just turn you guys up.
No,
a
I'll
I
little.
just
don't
move
register
closer.
that high on the decibels or whatever. My mouth.
There, I turned you guys up a little bit. Hopefully that'll help.
All right, John, what's your experience with My Little Pony? Do you have any?
No.
All right. I'm glad we chose the right guest for this part here.
I actually, I had a buddy, well, it was a friend, but he was pretty into My Little Ponies, and I'm sure still is, but it's weird to me anyway. I mean, I'm not, like, against people liking weird things. I know plenty of people who like different things, I guess, like hardcore gay porn, stuff like that, so, myself included.
Mm-hmm.
But mainly, I don't know. I'm a young adult male. I don't really find My Little Pony in any way, shape, or form not really attractive. What do you say?
You don't really get the...
It doesn't draw me in, to want to watch it. Like, I watch all kinds of cartoons, anime, stuff like that. I dig all that stuff. But My Little Pony, like, I like Adventure Time. Like, that's a cool cartoon to me.
Yeah.
And it's a kid's show, but, like, I can watch that, and I get that. But
I feel like Adventure Time is focused a little more towards adults also.
yeah,
Maybe
it's
teens,
definitely.
older teens.
I don't know. My Little Pony is more like it's definitely focused, like you guys were saying, towards younger girls. And that's why I really, unless you were a father or, like the story earlier with the autism, that, that makes sense to me. And I don't know. I just don't understand why a normal person would take that up as a hobby besides like it was saying earlier, I feel like it'd be more of trying to be a part of something because you don't have anything else, It
seemed like in my research, there is a pretty large aspect of people with Asperger's who enjoy My Little Pony.
Yeah. Which, is a good outlet if they can find a community that will not
judgmentalness and
not be judgmental towards them. Because having Asperger's can be a very it's a very trying disease. Affliction? Whatever you'd want to call it.
I mean, you would call it a disease in the same way you would call autism a disease, and you wouldn't, I guess.
Yeah,
so.
Whatever you would call it,
Yeah.
I think it's more particular than that. I think it has a lot to do with the math aspect, too. But I did, I dated a girl who, her, I believe, nephew or cousin, he had Asperger's, but we didn't see him often, but he was extremely into Pokemon cards.
Yeah,
And
Asperger's, from what I've seen,
Some
because
kind
my
of-
girlfriend has a son with Asperger's.
Yeah.
From what I understand, the hardest part of it is you can't register people's emotions, and it's hard for myself to even put myself in that mindset because it's so ingrained in us as like, I can be talking to you right now and I can see that you're looking at me, you're engaged. Yeah. I start talking about, how many socks I have. I hit about 5 minutes and I can see on your face, you're done. You don't want to hear it.
Right.
Whereas somebody with Asperger's, it's harder for them to recognize, I think, those kind of facial expressions. In the same way that I can look at John and see that he's looking through me because he's so stoned.
Yeah, I'm hearing what you're saying and I'm processing it, but...
I just want to go play with the cat again. We would have started 5 minutes earlier, but we had to wrest him away from playing with the cat. But yeah, also something with Asperger's is when you focus on something you like, this is all generalization. I guess
Right.
I should
Not every...
precursor by saying that, but I think that that's something that there's a lot of commonality between it.
Yes.
Is when you get focused on something you like, you are razor fucking focused on that.
Right.
So, I don't know, maybe that's where Brony-dom stemmed from.
So let's go ahead and talk about some of the good things that the Brony community has done.
They've done a lot of charity work. There's one site specifically, broniesforgood.org, which is a fundraising site. I went there right before I came here, and right now they're raising money for something called Seeds of Kindness, which is a charity that raises money to help build houses and schools and things in poverty-stricken villages. So, yeah, they do a lot of that kind of stuff. I mean, a certain section, which is awesome. The first thing I guess I'll go ahead and get into now to discuss is the news story. There was a 9-year-old boy in North Carolina who, it made the news because he liked My Little Pony. He wore a Rainbow Dash backpack to school and was bullied for it. I don't know how bad he was bullied, but bullied enough that it made the news. And his school told him, you're not allowed to wear that Rainbow Dash backpack to school because that's what's enabling the bullies. They're targeting you because of that.
Right.
And that's where there was a huge outcry. There was a Facebook page for him that got like 50,000 likes.
Wow.
Roughly 32,000 of them attributed to Bronies specifically, and then probably more than that too.
Yeah. And Pegasisters.
Pegasisters, yeah. And the school finally said, no, we weren't blaming him. We were just trying to keep it from happening. But the school kind of came under fire because they, in a lot of people's eyes, they didn't punish the bullies. They kind of took, boys will be boys. I mean, you're wearing a girl's backpack. What do you expect?
Right, yeah. I mean, there's a fine line between that. I mean, the school's just trying to protect this kid. They're not trying to challenge his potential masculinity or anything. They're just trying to protect him.
And I could honestly see a North Carolina school superintendent is going to look at that and be like, he's wearing a girl's backpack. I want to punch him.
Right.
You know? Like, what the hell's he doing? I mean, you might as well put on high heels.
Well, don't get me wrong, but even if I saw a guy with a girl's backpack, I wouldn't feel great about it. But the fact of the matter is, it's supposed to be a free country. You know, and that type of stuff, them not punishing bullies like that, you know, they're still going to be boys. Yeah, boys will be boys, but I got freaking detention, you know, shit like that all the time for doing dumb stuff. You should be punished for that, you know, in some way, shape, or form. You know, he should be allowed to wear his backpack.
Bully should be
line.
Punished, or the kid should be punished?
The bully should have been punished. If they were bullying him, you know, enough for it to make the news, you'd think one of them would have got suspended or possibly expelled if they took it to an extreme. But he should be allowed to wear that and not have to suffer that kind of bullshit, you know. Like I said, I have my opinions about it, but it doesn't mean I'm going to pick on the kid because of it. You know, if I was his friend, I probably would, because that's what I do with my friends. I give my friends shit. If the school said we're punishing the bullies, we've talked to them, we would recommend not wearing that backpack.
Yes.
You can, but we would recommend, to help diffuse the situation, don't wear that backpack.
Yeah,
right.
But you're allowed to.
Okay.
But from what I understand, the school said you're not allowed to wear that backpack.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, of course, after the attention, they recanted. But, see, I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I guess I should say straight up, of course, the bullies should have been punished. That's fucked
definitely.
up. There's a huge problem with bullying. I hate the mentality of, like, let the kids get bullied, you know? That's what toughened me up and blah, blah, blah. Like, that's bullshit. People who say that are, like, stroking their own fucking egos, like, looking back on their time in junior high and high school, like, somebody gave me shit, I'd just punch them, and then I'd be king of the bullies, and they'd carry me on a chair and make me a fucking crown made of bruises. Or whatever. It's just stupid macho posturing bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, like, no kid deserves to be bullied. At the same time, and this is probably where a lot of people are going to disagree with me, let the kid wear the backpack if he wants to, but at the same time, I think parents have a sort of responsibility to let a kid know, you know, I'm not saying teach your kid the world sucks, get used to it, because that kid's going to learn it on his own.
Right.
That kid learned his first lesson in the world sucks, get used to it, with the bullies and them not getting punished.
Right.
The Facebook thing, helping him to feel more comfortable or whatever, or putting attention on the school is good, but at the same time, how good is it? Does that instill in that kid, the internet's got my back? You know, if somebody's giving me shit because they disagree with me, I've got a bunch of people behind me now.
Right.
I'm probably putting too much thought into what a 9-year-old boy would think.
Right. A lot of things fall to parents that aren't getting addressed as they should be.
It's so much easier to go online and scream, look at this injustice, and have people back you, and it's not really about your kid so much as you at that point.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's easy for me to say because I don't have a son and I'm not in that situation.
Right. And we can't say that, you know, maybe the parents did say, you know, son, I mean, are you sure you want to have this backpack? You know, there might be kids who might give you some flack for this.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
We can't say that didn't happen.
But that's the thing, is I think it's partially the responsibility of the parents. And I'm not putting fault on the kid, because the kid should be able to do what he wants. But I think something important to teach children, especially around that age, is that, like it or not, there are consequences sometimes for things you do that people disagree with.
Right.
And if you're gonna wear that backpack, be prepared you're gonna get shit. It sucks.
It's not fair.
It's not fair,
It's not
but
right.
It's just how it's going to work.
Yes.
And I don't know. I think a lot of people I've seen online disagree with that. I don't know. I just think that at some point you gotta teach your kid slowly. People are gonna give you shit for stuff they disagree with.
Right.
And instead of teaching that kid, make a big enough fuss and things will change, teach that kid, find a way to deal with it. If you want to wear that backpack, fine, but find a way to deflect them.
Yeah.
Here's some things you can try to say. Here's some common interactions, you know? Let's get those kids who make fun of you over to play with.
Right.
You know, not that that's what stops all bullying. A lot of bullying in schools, especially today with cyberbullying and stuff, requires direct intervention.
Yes.
But I don't know, and I don't know if the parents did any of that. But if they didn't, I think that partially falls on them that they should have.
Right.
You know?
And if they did, then good on them for it.
And the school was definitely stupid in telling him he just couldn't wear it.
Yeah.
And then from what people
that
said,
would fall more on the
the
school.
bullies didn't get in trouble.
So yeah, that's definitely unfair.
I mean, what do you think about this situation, John? Do you think the kid should have just stopped wearing the backpack?
I think it should just be his choice. I mean, I definitely agree that it should be a suggestion. If I had a child and they were going to school wearing a My Little Pony backpack, particularly a boy older. I mean, even an older girl, you know, like when you get to 9, 10, 11, 12. Hell, I remember in school, like, you'd get picked on for that stuff if you liked younger things. You know, like we talked about earlier, yeah, I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And nowadays, it's almost changed that it's cool to like those older things, you know, no matter what age group you are. And it's stupid because...
Yeah, definitely. Our age group has...
It's like these golden years for some reason.
embrace nostalgia and retro
Exactly.
stuff.
And so
something that crops up
But when we were growing up, it wasn't cool to like that stuff, you know? And so I guess now maybe it'd be a little bit different, be more accepted for an older girl to like it. But I would definitely suggest to my child not to. You know, I'm still going to stick up for him no matter what. You know, and if somebody gave my kid shit and the school wasn't going to do anything about it, I'd do everything I could in my legal power, you know, at least at first. You know, and then try and solve the problem, because that is bullshit. You know, nobody should have to go through any kind of bullying in school, let alone, you know, for trying to express yourself and wear something that you
makes
support.
you proud.
You know?
Yeah.
Like if I wore a Cowboy Bebop t-shirt in high school, you know, and somebody gave me shit about it, you know, I wouldn't be too happy about it.
Yeah.
Or if it was an excessive thing, of course I don't think it would. Nobody probably know what the fuck that is.
But at the same time, there's a huge difference between a 9-year-old kid and somebody in high school, you know?
Most definitely.
You're a little more equipped in high school. Not totally, but a little
Things
more
are
equipped
more
to
dealt
realize
with
people are assholes.
without
Where in
teachers
elementary
and
school,
adults.
you know, you're just getting out of like, my mom let me add an ice cream sandwich after dinner. This is the greatest day of my life, you know?
Well, here's a good example for boys, I guess, that would be more not even just a girl show, but Dragon Ball Z growing up. I remember it's huge when I was in grade school, and then as soon as we got to junior high, like that's when you're getting a little bit older or whatnot. I guess that's still, 9 is still elementary, but we were kind of getting to that point, you know, it wasn't cool to watch it anymore. Like, you were a total loser, a nerd if you watched Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah,
you know, like,
well, that's
nobody
still true.
would like you. Yeah, well,
You're just saying that because I watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Jerk.
Anyway, so
Hey, let's watch them do one fight for 8 hours.
hey,
It
I
sounds
like
a
Dragon Ball
blast.
better, but Dragon Ball Z was good. They ran it out.
I was going to say there was another news story. This isn't about My Little Pony, but it's the same kind of vein. There was a mom who went to the internet and news sites and stuff because she had I think, 6-year-old kid who he had 3 sisters or 2 sisters and then him, and he liked to wear dresses.
Okay.
And she took him to a, like after school thing or like a nursery or whatever.
Okay.
Run out of a Catholic church.
Okay.
And he would go play in dresses. And the church came to her and said, after however long, don't send him here in dresses anymore. It's hard to explain. The kids are picking on him. If you want him to stay here, we don't agree with that. Send him in regular clothes. Besides everything else, he can't run around and play in a dress. And the mom flipped her shit and threw a fit and was like, I'm not going to send him in a dress. He owns like 112 dresses. And it showed like a picture of all the dresses laid out for this little kid.
Okay.
I think that mom is a fucking idiot. You know, honestly. It's like, and that is a different situation, but that's like, first off, if you don't agree with what that place says, don't go there, find another place.
Right.
It's not a public school.
Yeah,
or something.
if it's the only place you can go around, that's the time where you have a talk with your kid and say, I know that you love wearing dresses, but there are certain times that you can't.
Right.
So let's put you in, and even if you don't want to differentiate between girl and boy clothes, if you don't want to go that route, and I understand some parents do, just let's put you in play clothes. When you're there, put you in play clothes. You don't even have to explain to them, like, these people don't like it.
Yeah. We'll call these your play clothes.
Yeah, but I mean, like, the picture of the mom, like, she's holding the kid, and he's in long flowing dresses, and she's very, like, plasticky looking. You know, the kid's an afterthought in the photos she's posing for, and it's one of those, the story feels more about her. and like, look at my kid and the injustice, and I want to put dresses on him, and it's just...
Give me money.
Do what?
Give me money.
Yeah, I'm writing a book soon. It's
Yeah.
just, I don't know. That's the kind of stuff.
Yeah.
It just is irritating to me because there's a big change, it feels like, in society with what's boy stuff and what's girl stuff, and girls can like boy stuff and boys can like girl stuff. And that's, if it moved towards that, that's fine.
Right.
But there's a large section of the population that don't believe that.
Right.
Whether they're right or wrong in what they believe, I personally think they're wrong, they're still going to give you shit.
Yeah.
And the last thing, like I talked about last week with atheists and Christians, the last thing that's going to help your cause is just rubbing it in their face and finding every little thing to like, well, a Catholic church after school program doesn't want my son in a dress to run around because he's getting made fun of. Fuck them. I want to send him there in a dress.
Yeah.
If your kid's getting made fun of, help them change the thing that they're getting made fun of in that situation, you know?
Right. You can't control the rest of the populace, but you can control what your kid wears.
As much as some of these people seem to want to.
If you want them to go to a Catholic church after school program, put them in robes instead.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. Dress them up like the Pope.
Send him
Put them in a Pope hat. They can't argue then. Well, it's like a dress, son, but they're Pope robes.
Just shit in his robes every day, running around like a little midget pope.
Yeah.
Blessing people, tripping over them.
Yeah. See? Problem solved.
He'd still get shit for the whole kind of gay thing, though, for touching little boys.
Well, but he's the same age, so it's consensual. So that's
That's true. Statutory. Like, junior statutory.
yeah.
Yeah.
Aye, that.
Law number 1.
Speaking of dark things, why don't we get into the dark business of the brony populace?
All right. I'm just going to go over it real quick.
Yeah, we can only touch bases on this because you don't want to see the images that Brandon has
Over
shown me.
the course of the
past
week, I was sending Remington through Facebook just the worst, most horrible My Little Pony X-rated, double, triple, 8 million
Can we pull this up? Because I didn't get to
X.
see any of the messages or anything.
porn.
I can only imagine.
There's, in the brony world, masturbating is referred to as clopping. I guess
I'm gonna go
because
clop one off real quick.
They're gonna clop one off in the bathroom. Because apparently when you masturbate as a brony, you ball your fist up and you just smash your dick in between them like the trash compactor from Star Wars. There's one of them, John. That's Applejack. So if you want to see some of these images for yourself,
And you don't.
horribly not safe
You
for
could
work.
link them this way, they don't show
No,
up.
we're not- we're
We
not-
would get our group banned if I linked these.
Yeah.
Horribly not safe for work.
I would ban ourselves.
There's another one.
Oh, wow.
These are Princess Luna and Princess Celestia nude and pregnant with octopus tentacles coming out of
They
their
only have 2 breasts, though.
vaginas.
So these are like human horses.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
no.
thoroughly anthropomorphic.
There's a lot of, in the porn, there's a lot of promorphizing,
Right.
like there's Rainbow Dash. Those are the 3 that I sent him.
It's pretty equal.
That one is actually really tame compared to a lot.
Yeah.
There's not much.
If you want to check these out for yourself, the address is reddit.com/r/clop. You're going to go there. You're going to be scared.
You.
I understand that you're going to be scared. It's okay. The first thing you're going to be confronted with is a page that says, "Are you over 18?" Click yes or no. You want to click no, then you want to go somewhere else.
You do.
Once
However-
you open Pandora's box,
It cannot be closed. You cannot unsee the images that you will
If
see.
you
there.
have stared into the sun enough to click yes, you'll then be led to a giant thread of pictures, just thread after thread after thread of fan fiction pictures. Some of them are pony people hybrids. Some of them are just straight up like they're horses. That's a big part of the community.
Well, it's probably not a big part of the community. It's probably
It's a
small part.
big subsection of the community.
Right.
If the amount of individual unique users posting these things is any indication, it's a pretty decent size. And that was one of the things with coming into My Little Pony 2 that I wasn't sure about, is I kind of viewed it as like, these older guys are watching it because they're sexually attracted to these ponies.
Right. Which
You
is
know, they're
which is
viewing
the
them
general
like-
stigma that you initially get when you hear about this. I
And
think.
stumbling upon this kind of stuff does nothing to change that opinion.
Right.
And I think some people who are bronies find them sexually attractive in some way. Maybe in a pedophilic way, maybe just in the way of, like, I was talking to Bree.
Cousin likes to fuck sheep.
What?
Well, that
Cousin
sort of
likes to fuck
reality,
sheep.
those are
Did you
good.
just share some dark secret and you just decided this apropos of nothing moment to blurt out your cousin likes to
There's
fuck
a
sheep?
time on my uncle's farm. I don't want to
No,
talk
you
about
know
it.
you know how backwoods West Virginians tend to get the stigma of banging farm animals or
Speak for yourself,
Southerners
bro.
being-
No, it's hilarious because I was banging a sheep before I came over to record.
Right.
But I live in an apartment. I don't live in a barn.
Yeah.
So that part of the stereotype is ridiculous.
You know how hard it is
Stereotypes
to
aren't
walk a
always
sheep
right.
up those stairs?
No, walking them up is the easy part. It's getting them to walk back down the stairs that's difficult.
Anyway.
I mean, if they could walk after I'm done with them. But, yeah, so
Lightweights.
there's that, you think that whole subsection of it. So, anyway, I got off track thinking about fucking sheep. But, story of my life. But yeah, Reddit board, there's all kinds of stuff. I mean, DeviantArt, when you go into, like, the darker side of DeviantArt,
yeah.
wedged between the Misty fucking Squirtle and Sonic the Hedgehog blowing Mario, you will find a lot of My Little Pony stuff also.
Right.
Is there any Pokemon porn on there?
He just said,
Misty fucking Squirtle.
yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Come on.
I just didn't catch
There's a
that,
lot of
yeah.
Pokemon porn.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the thing, too, that as I looked at this stuff more, I masturbated a few times to clear my head.
Of
Right.
course. Yeah.
No, there's always a subsection in almost any group, the Rule 34 thing,
Right.
that's going to take something and sexualize it.
Yeah.
So I understand that, and I do now have more of an appreciation that I don't think most bronies are kind of perverted or getting something perverted out of it.
Right.
I still don't get it. I still think it's strange that they've chosen this show to latch onto.
Right.
But the more I looked into the group, I guess my final thoughts on this, about bronies anyway, is that they're just another group. It's something I don't enjoy. It's something a lot of people enjoy. There's thousands of people, conventions. Like, let me just read off a list of conventions here real quick.
Okay.
I'll quick fire through these. Canterlot Con, Ontario. The Brony Days, Paris. Running of the Leaves Con, Denver. Nightmare Nights, Dallas. PonyCon AU, Melbourne, Australia. Brony Fest, Louisville, Texas. DerpyCon South, Louisiana. Midwest Brony Fest, Kansas City. Big Apple PonyCon, Jersey City, New Jersey. Fiesta Equestria, which is my favorite. Houston, Texas. A lot of them in Texas, weirdly enough.
That, yeah.
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 But this list
Well, ranchers.
is a fifth of the amount of BronyCons that happen a year. Literally, I went to Equestria Daily, which is like the big Brony website, and updated constantly, and like full on fucking news cameras going to these things.
Wow.
And there was a list, and I started to write them down and got this many, and then went to scroll down and see like, how many more are there, and it just kept going and going and going and going.
Wow.
But yeah,
DerpyCon.
DerpyCon.
I'm not sure which one I like more, to be honest. Fiesta Equestria or DerpyCon.
Well, what's great is it's DerpyCon South.
Yeah.
So I don't know if there's a DerpyCon North, and there was some sort of schism that made them like, well, fuck you, I'll start DerpyCon South.
Probably just, location.
So you would have to presume that if there's a DerpyCon South, there's a DerpyCon North, right?
And maybe a west and an east.
My God. 4 separate
My
DerpyCons.
Yeah.
Did you go to DCW last year? I'm glad to be pulling my head out of the rabbit hole. I honestly have felt weird all day from the stuff.
Yeah.
And I mean, not the porn. The porn images were whatever,
Yeah, you're
Like,
used to looking at that.
they're fucked up, but like, how in Men in Black, one of the first things Will Smith has to do is touch that ball and burn his fingerprints away?
Yeah.
I've seen so much fucked up porn over the course of my life that part of my brain that registers it and gets revulsion is burnt to nothing. Like those fingerprints. So I see that stuff and it just slides off. It's just like, that's gross. That's a little weird. Whatever. I've seen worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I've literally seen an oil painting of the 3 children from Family Circus triple teaming their mom. An oil painting. Do you know how long it takes to fucking oil paint something? I took painting classes. It's like a 2-week process to let that shit dry. So, I mean, nothing, and that, and somebody out there took the time to paint this.
Right.
Just the same as with the My Little Pony stuff, with the porn anyway. Somebody takes the time, that's somebody's craft.
Yeah.
They're probably a fucking weirdo, but
Who are you to judge?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't see any post on there, and I was not looking for it, but there is a subsection of My Little Pony porn that follows the, like, little ponies that haven't got their cutie marks yet, which are supposed to be the equivalent of, like, 6-year-old girls. There's a whole subsection of pony porn involving them.
Wow.
Most specifically, torture porn involving them.
Jeez.
Something Awful, which I've talked about before, the website did multiple articles about bronies and posted YouTube videos and stuff, and they talked about it a little bit.
Right.
But again, I didn't want to look for it. I mean, that's where I draw the line of, like, I mean, it's a cartoon character, sure. It's just like,
Yeah, when you know something is supposed to be underage, I mean, there's just a line that needs to be drawn.
Well, all the ponies are underage.
Well, yeah, but regardless.
But I guess we don't know the age of consent in Equestria. You know?
That's true. That's true. Well, I think that probably wraps it up. We finished up with the dark, so let's go on record saying we don't condemn bronies for liking and doing good with what they like.
Yeah, I don't condemn bronies.
No.
I still don't understand it.
Right.
Still think it's a little weird.
Right.
But, you know, it's just a taste. I think it's weird in the same way that I find people who really love Doctor Who and dress up like him
really
and
like
stuff.
sports.
Really like sports. Really like WoW, even. Not in the same vein specifically, you know.
Well,
you cannot tell me that you haven't jerked off to an image of a night elf before. The fact that you had to think about it tells me that you have. So,
no,
you know,
I was more along the lines of trying to think why you wouldn't. So, to nitpick a little bit, blood elves are hotter.
I'm sorry. I guess we'll have to do a World of Warcraft porn episode, and
Yeah.
that'll be my last episode before I hang myself in your backyard.
I'll be right there with you, buddy.
So, do you have any closing thoughts on bronies there, John, our resident stoner?
It's fucking weird. I can't lie. But like I said, whatever. Do your thing. I've seen weirder.
Well, continue doing good, bronies and Pegasisters, for the community, and stay away from the porn.
Also, fedoras don't look as good as you think that they do.
All right, good night, everybody.
Oh, wait, here. I want to go out with a small list of celebrity bronies.
Well, hold on a minute. Real quick, I wanted to get this in, and I forgot, and it's just going to be an add-on.
Fedoras?
No. I wanted to talk about Tara Strong real quick. The voice of
Twilight Sparkle.
Twilight Sparkle.
Okay.
So she's been in tons and tons of animated.
She's pretty cute.
Yeah, she's a very good-looking lady. She also does the voice of Raven on Teen Titans. And they have the new series Teen Titans Go, which is very chibi and funny and that sort of thing. But she plays with pretty Pegasises in the show, which is kind of an homage to the fact that she voices Twilight Sparkle. That's the kind of meshing where it's not like where they're not like working the actual characters into the.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still just a nod to the fact that she voices these characters as well. And I think that that's neat. Whenever I find a voice actor in one thing doing something else, and then in that series they reference something else that they did, I think is really enjoyable.
That it is cool when that happens. Yeah. And Hugh Jackman, who plays Wolverine, has a full back tattoo of all 6 of the main ponies. That's not true.
Because I was going to say. That is fucking awesome. That's what I was going to say.
I mean, seriously, who's going to say something to Hugh Jackman, though? I mean,
yeah,
he's
really.
so fucking ripped.
Like, if you ran into him at the beach, and, like, I don't know, just some guy turned
he
around
takes
at
his
first,
shirt
you'd
off.
be like, hey, what's up with your tattoo? And he just turns around, and you're like, sorry, man.
That's cool. That's awesome.
And
what's
he looks
up, fucking Hugh?
Because he's only like 5'4" anyway.
Yeah.
I'm Hugh Jackman. Get out of here.
He's taller than that, but he's not a very tall man.
Yeah.
I think he's like 5'8", 5'10", something like that. About as tall as me. But.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were going to go out on
my small 4-person list of celebrity bronies.
Oh, and we were going to do your daughter's thing too.
Oh yeah, I was going to read this at the beginning, but I had her write it, so I want to read it now. For context, I had her write a description of what My Little Pony was. I was originally going to open the show with this.
Did she actually write it, or did you write what she said?
I wrote this. She actually wrote her own, but I left it at the apartment. So I had Bree read it to me over the phone.
You're a terrible father.
Bucky, John? My Little Pony is about friendship. Friendship is when you like someone and they like you. For example, if you have a best friend. Twilight became a princess. She is the princess.
Very nice.
So that's what My Little Pony is in a nutshell.
Right.
Twilight became the princess. She is a princess.
Right.
Your daughter can write good haikus.
That was a good addition to this, John. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Celebrity Bronies.
She's really good at haikus, man. Good stuff.
Your daughter writes them. My favorite kind of poem. I am so high, dude. Haiku'd, motherfucker.
Yeah.
All right. Celebrity Bronies will go out on this.
Yeah.
Marcus Pearson, creator of Minecraft.
Okay.
Andrew WK. Guy.
Guy.
MC Chris, nerdy rapper, voice on Adult Swim, and my favorite celebrity brony, Gabe Newell, who is the owner of Valve, the company that's put out Half-Life and everything else. Probably the fattest billionaire in the world. He is so rich and so fat.
He is the richest.
It's amazing.
Fat. He is not only fat with wealth, but with fat.
But with ham.
And ham.
Oh, and yeah, one more thing. I'll take a picture of this and put it up too.
I'm so glad that we petered out on this one too.
Yeah, I didn't add a computer, but I drew you as a My Little Pony.
Oh, that's adorable. I'm totally going to have to scan that in.
You're typing on the computer. Your cutie marks a piece of ham. All right, guys.
I love this. This is great. All right.
I'll redraw it and take a picture of it for you. And I'll post it on our Facebook page. We didn't fucking...
we still haven't got our pictures yet.
We didn't talk about our Facebook page last week, I don't think.
No, we didn't.
All. We didn't mention it.
No, we did because we were talking about Vanessa took the pictures and we were going to post them on the Facebook page and I haven't got them yet. So.
Yeah, good job, Vanessa.
Way to go.
I know you're not listening to this, so fuck you.
She might.
We have a Facebook page. You probably know about it if you found this.
Right.
But if not, Dueling Ogres on Facebook. Like our page. We're trying to interact with people.
Yeah, interact with us. Talk to us.
We're kind of just putting things into a vacuum chamber or a vacuum right now, but interact with us.
Facebook.com/duelingogres.
Tell us how boring Remington is.
Yes.
And how I'm your favorite.
Tell us all about that. All right, good night, everybody.
Petering out again.
Petering out.
Thanks for listening.
We love you.
Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur.